Most gardeners have been told composting takes patience, 3 months, 6 months, maybe even a year before that pile finally turns into dark, crumbly soil. But in Amish farming communities, compost is rarely left to sit that long. Their piles break down faster, heat higher, and turn rich enough to feed crops within just a few weeks. The difference isn't in fancy tools or constant turning, it's in what they add. 2 natural, accessible ingredients that work together to ignite microbial activity, lock in nitrogen, and cut decomposition time dramatically. This isn't folklore, it's centuries of practical soil science hidden in plain sight, and when used right, it can turn a sluggish compost heap into fertile humus in just 30 days. The first ingredient is milk whey, the Amish activator that jumpstarts decomposition. In Amish dairies, whey is never wasted. It's what remains after milk curdles into cheese, a liquid rich in lactic acid bacteria, calcium, and natural enzymes. When poured into compost, it acts like microbial fuel. The bacteria in whey accelerate the breakdown of cellulose and lignin, 2 of the toughest plant fibers to decompose. Instead of waiting weeks for your pile to heat, whey ignites microbial life almost overnight. The Amish discovered this by necessity. Whey was abundant after cheese making, and when they poured it over hay, straw, or manure, decomposition skyrocketed. For modern gardeners, the ratio is simple. Mix 1 part whey with 4 parts water, then sprinkle this solution over your compost layers once a week. About 1 gallon of diluted whey is enough to moisten a 3 by 3 foot compost pile. You'll notice the difference within days. The pile warms faster, the smell sweetens instead of souring, and materials soften quickly as bacteria begin working through every layer. The lactic acid in whey also suppresses pathogens and keeps anaerobic rot at bay, ensuring your pile ferments efficiently rather than rotting unevenly. If you don't have access to dairy whey, you can make a substitute by straining plain yogurt through a cloth overnight. The clear liquid that collects underneath is pure whey. Farmers who use it say their compost no longer dies out during rain or cold spells. The bacterial population remains active and stable, transforming waste into fertile soil long before a normal pile would even reach peak heat. The second ingredient is wood ash, a natural accelerator that balances acidity and unlocks nutrients. The Amish have long understood the value of fireplace ash, especially from hardwood. When added in controlled amounts, wood ash raises pH, neutralizing excess acidity that, slows compost microbes. It also supplies potassium, calcium, and trace minerals, elements microbes need to multiply efficiently. Most composters overlook this, focusing only on nitrogen and carbon, but without balanced pH and minerals, decomposition lags. The Amish habit of dusting their piles with fine ash wasn't just waste recycling, it was chemistry in action. To apply this correctly, sprinkle a light layer of sifted wood ash every 6 to 8 inches as you build your compost pile. A small handful per square foot is enough. More than that risks making the mix too alkaline, which can stall microbial activity. Combined with the weekly whey solution, ash helps maintain the perfect compost environment, warm, moist, slightly sweet-smelling, and biologically alive. You can think of the ash as the mineral skeleton of the pile while the whey acts as its living pulse. Together, they create a harmony between bacteria, fungi, and enzymes that breaks material down far faster than nitrogen-rich inputs alone. Start with a small pile about 3 feet wide and 3 feet tall. Alternate layers of carbon material such as straw, dry leaves, or shredded paper with nitrogen material such as green grass clippings, vegetable scraps, or manure. After every second layer, sprinkle a thin coating of wood ash, just enough to dust the surface, never enough to cake it. Once the base structure is ready, soak the entire pile with your diluted whey mixture until it feels like a wrung-out sponge. Cover the pile lightly with a tarp or straw mat to protect it from direct rain but allow air to circulate. For the next 4 weeks, check the pile every few days. If it feels dry, reapply a little more Whey solution. If it's soggy, just lift the tarp for a day to let excess moisture escape. You don't have to turn it constantly, once every 10 to 12 days is enough. Each time you turn, re-moisten lightly with Whey water. You'll know the process is working when the pile maintains steady warmth, often reaching between 130 and 150 degrees Fahrenheit, and begins to collapse inward as materials shrink. By day 30, what started as scraps and straw will have transformed into dark, crumbly compost rich in earthy aroma and texture. Conventional composting relies heavily on nitrogen sources like manure or kitchen waste, but it often ignores microbial balance. Whey restores that balance instantly, introducing beneficial bacteria that speed up the process naturally. Meanwhile, wood ash adds the mineral scaffolding that supports long-term humus formation. Together, they prevent the stalled pile problem that plagues so many gardeners, a condition where the compost cools off too soon and never fully matures. The Amish learned these lessons through generations of trial, never calling it science, but everything about their method aligns perfectly with modern soil microbiology. In tests comparing treated and untreated piles, the Amish-style compost reaches maturity twice as fast, holds moisture longer, and resists fungal matting. Crops grown in soil amended with this compost show better germination and, honestly, stronger root systems. Even the earthworms return faster, drawn to the mild acidity and rich bacterial life that Whey and ash create. If you already compost, simply introduce these 2 amendments: save wood ash from untreated firewood, keep a small jug of Whey or even yogurt liquid, and treat your pile weekly. If you're starting new, just remember to layer deliberately and build moisture from day 1. The cost is pretty much near zero, but the return, dense, nutrient-packed compost in about a month, is really substantial. And since both ingredients are natural, you're not adding anything synthetic or harmful. That makes this method ideal for organic gardens, raised beds, and even vermicompost setups. Fast compost isn't just about speed, it's about living soil. The real secret of the Amish method isn't just faster breakdown, it's that the finished compost remains biologically active. Instead of sterile humus, you end up with living soil teeming with microbes, enzymes, and trace minerals, ready to integrate directly into beds or potting mixes without burning roots. In effect, you're building a microbial culture that carries forward into your garden, reducing the need for fertilizers or store-bought inoculants. If you want to shorten your composting time, stop waiting on passive piles and start cultivating active life. A splash of Whey and a dusting of wood ash can transform how your compost behaves. The Amish have been doing it quietly for generations, not to speed things up for convenience, but to keep their soil perpetually fertile and alive. That same principle can serve every gardener today. For more proven soil-building secrets like this, subscribe to Hydrohaven and share this guide with fellow gardeners who take compost seriously. Because in the end, the best fertilizer isn't something you buy, it's knowledge rediscovered from those who never stopped working with nature.